Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Matt, and as you can see we have a 7-year anniversary dev note, so let's jump straight into it with our wonderful CM fragment here introducing it. So as we can see, it goes, greetings agents, Marvel Future Fight dev team, 7 years have passed. Yes, we know that 7 years is a really good achievement. I don't think we should understate that enough, as we saw earlier this week with the death of another long-running mobile game, the Brave Frontier. It's no mean feat to last 7 years, so the fact that they have kept going all this time and hopefully going to continue to keep going, even though the actual recurring player base is not as big as it maybe has been, it's a really good sign. So they're talking here about there is a need to integrate old and outdated modes, which is why they got rid of the beta test of Danger Room and why they automated story mode, but they're still looking to improve it, which is interesting. And I presume that remedying concerns over new changes, and there is a desire for fresh and entertaining content can coexist. So that's great. That means that they're not just saying, look, we're going to rework these old game modes and make them better. We're also saying, look, well, we're going to do that, but we're also working on new game modes as well. So this is the really interesting, because they're talking about revamping Giant Boss Raid, which is a relatively new mode in itself, but they're saying whilst it is fun, we know that Power Creep has made it so that it's an absolute doddle. And you can see here this amazing looking stage. It looks very much like Dormammu's Dark Dimension from the first Doctor Strange movie, so that's looking very interesting if we see a massive Dormammu come in as a giant boss. Hopefully that's the case. And it gives us the option of playing solo, which is fantastic. It says here the change will be made for agents who constantly face difficulties in playing with other agents and those who just prefer. Look, sometimes you do. You just want to go in solo and see how much, especially like if you're a content creator like ourselves, some of us want to just go in and just see how much damage our players can do. Other times, and I don't know how much this affects other people, but certainly for me, I've been kicked when just going into quick start rather than creating my own lobby. I get kicked so many times because for some reason people think that finishing first, second or third actually affects the reward you get. It totally doesn't. But people will just boot you just for no reason, or if you're taking a couple of seconds because you're actually adding your boost points and not getting ready straight away, they'll kick you. So that's great news. And it's interesting here that they're talking about preparing new world bosses. Fantastic, great, but it says they couldn't add new rewards for Ultron, even though they made him to be distinctly harder because he still had the legend tag. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know what you guys feel, but I do feel that they could have added new rewards if they really wanted to. The fact that it's a legend tag shouldn't mean anything to anyone really. We all knew that the content was going to be harder, so yeah, maybe that's what those 9 downvotes are for. But I still gave it a smiley up because I think it's fantastic news in general. I do think the devs are really underrated. As you can see, that's the rewards we got there. Insight is energy and... is it energy and crit? Energy and cooldown. Okay, so that's cool. That's some nice extra free rewards. So that's great. So we'll close that off. But yeah, I think the devs are massively underrated in the job that they do, especially when it comes to things like the skills and the animations. So if we look here at the story mode, they talk about it being automated and how that's massively increased the amount of people playing it. I think in terms of stuff that they could be changing, I don't know if they'll change the All War, because the only characters it ever recommends for Ultimate are Elemental anyway, so I can't see that being too difficult. I know in Dimensional Clash the only thing that trips people up sometimes is 5-1, because that reflects all damage that heroes do. So you can see here it's all recommending 3 villains. If I'd have gone in with this team with my Athena as a lead, she would have died straight away. And I don't know if people are just picking like a Athena type character because she's the strongest. If You can see here I don't have Molecule Man up at tier 3. I've been really slack on building him, so maybe that's the reason why. And then 13.3, there can be some occasions where you may technically need to take manual control against Thanos. Let's just jump in here quickly now and see. This is the team that it has recommended or set as the team for this stage to get the maximum rewards. So taking approximately, because she's got the ignore, dodge and the crit damage. Although to be fair, I'd like to see Silver Surfer in here, because I kind of feel bad for poor old Silver Surfer. He was a great character when he came out, and then he got the Silver Surfer black uniform and became even stronger. But then Sentry came out and kind of just took his place in PvP. And there's not really much he can do in anything else, really. He's certainly not meta PvE content, that's for sure. He only kind of gets a look in really in timeline battle when other characters are banned now, so yeah, it's been a long time since I've even looked at poor old Silver Surfer, so it's nice to see him here. But in terms of this being a game mode that they can further change to make it better for players, I'm not sure how I feel about it being better unless they're just straight up going to make it easier. Now bear in mind that this is 13.3, this is the pinnacle, this is the ultimate end goal of the story mode. You know, if this was a console game and you're saying this is the last boss of the story, you know, if we were to say, like, if this was like an MMO, like say Final Fantasy 14, so this is the end boss of the game, and it's not on normal difficulty, this is on ultimate difficulty, so it's like playing 301 New Game Plus with harder bosses. And to make it easier so that you don't have to manually take control, I think kind of defeats the object. I mean, if you're getting to 13.3, even in normal story mode, you have to have a fairly built up roster, let alone in ultimate difficulty, where you have to have all tier 3s anyway just to even play the game. So I think that it's pitched about right difficulty wise. I don't see how people are complaining. I mean, you can see here Silver Surfer is not doing too badly. This is the part here, the countless meteorites, where you might occasionally have to take control, but he's just about got through. And you can see you might have to make a tweak here or there occasionally if you're watching, keep half an eye on. But the fact is that Silver Surfer has a revive anyway, so even if he was to go down here, and he got his heal off, so that's okay, but even if he was, he would revive anyway. So I'm really not sure that they need to make any changes to that, unless it's purely for time's sake, if they're saying that people aren't spending enough time. If anything, I would say that energy, if they were to drop it from 4 to 3 energy, would make it a lot better, because with the other content, Dimension mission, dispatch missions, etc., it's a lot to go through. So yeah, Ultron. You can see Mephisto, we've got quite a high level. If I ever get Ultron, honestly, I re-roll at the moment, which is why he's only at level 8 and I'm only got to stage 8, because it is so difficult and the rewards aren't that great, that pushing Mephisto to try and get to level 50 for that CTP chest and pushing Null higher and doing stuff with them is more important for me. But I don't see how they couldn't have added new rewards. They could easily add new rewards. Just because it says Legend and he's in the Legend tab doesn't mean that they couldn't add extra rewards. People know that the difficulty is higher for Ultron. It's been well established by everyone. So yeah, not quite sure on that, but we shall wait and see what happens with these new bosses in the second half of the year. I really hope that they're going to merge. It'd be nice if they merged all three, Shadowland, Timeline, Survival and Dimension Rift, because none of those get used. Timeline they didn't talk about, the PvP, which is a shame. And then we have Giant Boss Raid. So as we know at the moment, if we just click on Quick Start here, this is where it can take time. Just to start with, searching for a lobby. We know that occasionally you could be here 5 minutes, occasionally, you know, depending on your luck, if you don't get matched up with anyone. So we'll just pick any old team here. Look, you can already see the person there is like, get ready, so angry. Oh, I've wasted my time waiting. It's like, dude, chill. I literally just spawned in, picked my team, and all I'm doing is adding my boost points. And the amount of times, I don't know about anyone else, but the amount of times I've been kicked by people, literally the second I get in there, and it's just like, why are you kicking me? There is no proven fact that finishing first, second, or third in Giant Boss Raid improves or decreases your rewards or your potential rewards. And considering the fact that Giant Boss has been around for how many years now? 2.5, maybe 3? The amount of times that I have finished first, and I have never received a single CTP from this game mode. And I have finished second and third multiple times as well when I've gone in with better players. That doesn't bother me, it just means it's finished quicker, so I think that's a good thing. It means I can get on with other content. And you can see here, I am doing most of the damage. I could have gone in on my own if that was the way. And you can't see the little Wi-Fi bars on the other teams, so you don't know how good your connection is with other players. It could just mean that I was stronger, or it could mean that the other person lagged out. We don't know. So I am very happy to see that they are improving this, and the fact that you can go in solo. I think that's really great news. As to whether or not, because there is an element of RNG which hasn't been transposed, unlike the fixed odds of the gambling in game, which has to be by law. They have to disclose that information, and you can see my cards here. They're not bad. They're pretty good. For the VIP level I have, at VIP 4, I'd say that they're pretty good, but they're nowhere near the level of a lot of the content creators out there who are much higher VIP level, and that's fair enough. I don't begrudge them that, because they've spent the money on the game to earn that, to get to that point. It's kind of weird only having the 3 tabs at the top though. I don't like that. It takes a lot of getting used. I know they've moved it over to the Marvel Universe tab, so I know that it's over here now, but it just feels weird. You know, when you're used to things, so if you have a bit of OCD, like I do, when you see those tabs having changed, it does take a while to get used to. But that's by the by. But yeah, I'm really excited at this dev note. The changes here are fantastic. This first tab, I mean, you could argue that this is the best tab in terms of gameplay wise. They could get rid of Heroic Quest. I think that's the only one that a lot of people just completely ignore. It's only really worth it for White Fox, and they could merge that with Dimension Mission, put it in with the support characters, maybe bump up the drop rate on those, or have it so that it's guaranteed if you pay so many crystals for the day. Certainly an option. But I do think the other modes in this tab are fantastic. Challenge, Legendary Battle, fine. Squad Battle, fine. World Boss, we know we're getting the changes. If they merge these bottom 3, Shadowland, Timeline Survival and Dimension Rift, that would be fantastic. So we get better rewards, bigger rewards in Shadowland. Maybe tweak some of the gameplay in the way that it's played, so Shadowland is maybe laid out like the Timeline Survival board. That would be cool. Yeah, and Giant Boss Raid, very excited. But I have to say, I know I mentioned in yesterday's video, but again here, you look at the quality, you look at this, not only the actual look, but the animations. Look, even in the bobbing of Doctor Strange's hair from his ponytail, it looks so good, and the skills really do look like they've been ripped straight from the trailer. The devs do a really fantastic job, and I do think they are underrated in the work that they do. So to get a dev note like this to say, hey, we're fans of this game as much as you, and we're looking to do more, is great news. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, take care.